You ever have that feeling? You look around at your life, at everything you've built, and you think, is this it? There's this nagging voice, this deep sense of dissatisfaction. And it's confusing, right? But what if I told you that feeling isn't a sign that something's wrong with you? What if it's actually a sign that something more is waiting for you? Let's get into what that feeling is really trying to tell you.
To really understand this, we're going to look at a pretty fascinating source that points to an extreme case. Get this. In South Korea, a staggering 90% of people say they're dissatisfied with their lives. 90%. And look, while that number is from one country, the reason behind it is something that so many of us feel all over the world. Maybe even you.
So, what's the deal? Is it because we need more money, a fancier job title, a bigger house? Well, the source we're digging into today says, nope, it's none of that stuff. The answer isn't somewhere out there. It's in here. It's a conflict that's happening inside of us. All right, so Section 1, a nation of dissatisfaction. We're talking about a feeling that really goes so much deeper than just your day-to-day circumstances. Here is the core idea, right here. This deep dissatisfaction, it doesn't come from a lack of stuff or achievements. It comes from this fundamental mismatch between who you truly are on the inside and the work that you're doing out in the world. It is, at its heart, an internal tug of war. Which brings us to Section 2, the core energy mismatch. Now, this concept is the absolute key to understanding that constant, nagging feeling that you should be somewhere else, doing something else. And we're about to break down exactly what that means. So, what in the world is this energy mismatch? Okay, think of it this way, and this is a brilliant analogy. Imagine you have the engine of a Formula One race car inside you, but you're being forced to drive it in a 20-mile-per-hour school zone day in and day out. That friction, that constant grinding, that feeling of being held back, that is the source of your dissatisfaction. Let's just put these two things right next to each other. On one side, you've got your inner energy. It's this massive, powerful, unique potential that's just yours. And on the other side, you've got your current work, the role you play every single day. For a lot of people, that role just feels too small, maybe a little boring, or just completely out of sync with that inner fire. The bigger that gap gets, the louder that feeling of restlessness becomes. On to Section 3, 2 paths, 1 purpose. Now, to make this whole idea really hit home, the source gives us a couple of really powerful stories that explain this mismatch perfectly. First, I want you to picture 2 monks meditating. The first monk is just totally serene, patient, calm. His goal is enlightenment for his next life, a goal that's maybe decades or lifetimes away. But the second monk? Oh, he's totally different. He's practically buzzing with energy. He's studying to make a real, tangible impact on society, right here, right now. His energy is all pointed outward. Now, let's focus on that second monk for a second, because he has gathered all this knowledge, all this energy for one purpose, to use it. He gets incredibly frustrated and restless if he can't find the right place to put it to work. He feels this huge internal pressure to find his real purpose out in the world. The source says they develop a wanderlust spirit. I love that phrase. It's that undeniable feeling that you are meant for a different journey, a different place. It's like your internal compass is just screaming at you to move, to go seek, to find where you really belong. Okay, the second story is about 2 laborers. The first guy, he's perfectly happy. His work is fulfilling because for him, this is the path. But the second laborer, the seeker, he's always restless. And why? It's because he can see the next level. He is so aware that there's more out there, a higher path just waiting for him. And this right here, this is the big aha moment of this whole idea. If you feel dissatisfied because you can see a higher path for yourself, that is not a flaw. It's not a curse you have to live with. It is a sign. It is your own inner energy confirming that, yes, you are meant to be on that path. You were literally designed for more. All right, our final section, finding your joyful work. So, if this restlessness is a sign, how do you actually follow it? This is all about the journey, from that mismatch to alignment to finding what the source calls your joyful work. So the path forward is pretty simple, but it is definitely not easy. First, you have to just admit the truth to yourself. You see a higher path and you're meant for it. Second, and this is so crucial, you have to reframe where you are right now. Your current job isn't a prison, it's a training ground.
This is where you do the work, the learning, the practicing, the connecting, to get yourself fully qualified for that next level.
And let's be crystal clear, we're not just talking about a better job title or a bigger paycheck. Your true work is the role that finally lets you fully unleash that massive inner energy we've been talking about. It's the work that solves those internal frustrations and allows you to feel whole and useful and completely authentically you. So how do you know? How do you know when you finally found it? Well, the source puts it in this incredibly intense and beautiful way. You don't need anyone else to tell you. You just know it yourself. You feel so profoundly happy, so deeply engaged and joyful that you feel you could just die in that moment of perfect alignment. And when you finally get to this alignment, the results are completely transformative. That constant restlessness we started with, it just melts away. It's replaced by this deep, lasting joy. You start living a life without regrets because you're finally doing what you were put here to do, and you feel truly profoundly useful in the world. So we're going to end here with this one question. That feeling of dissatisfaction you might be carrying around, it's not a failure. It's a compass. It is pointing you toward a higher path that you are uniquely qualified to walk. The only real question left is, what work is waiting for you to find it?